Hello, my name is Laura, and this is the 14th episode of my knitting podcast. Today I have 2 finished objects, one big, one small. I have 3 works in progress, and one of those is also an acquisition because you've never seen this yarn before, so I have like kind of an acquisition with that, and then one other small acquisition to show you at the end. So, getting right into it, my first finished object is what I'm wearing, and this is my Lulu Slipover Chunky Edition by PetiteKnit. And I knit this using Blue Sky Fibers Woolstok worsted in the color 1313 Dark Chocolate. And I am obsessed. But before I get into the yarn, just to talk quickly about the pattern, this is a drop shoulder slipover construction, and you start by knitting the back panel, and the front and back are actually separate, like they're just buttoned at the side here, and so whenever you start the back panel, you knit the entire back, and then you pick up stitches for the front shoulder here, join them, and then you knit the rest of the front panel separately. And yeah, and then you pick up stitches for like the really deep armhole that it's got here, and then you do double knitting on the sides, and then you have a really tall collar. And I think the only modification I made to this pattern is that I did the collar like 1/2 inch to 1 inch shorter than what she calls for in the pattern, and that's just because I was tired of knitting the collar. And honestly, I think it worked out great because I think if it had been any taller, it would have been like borderline uncomfortable, like a little too close to my chin. So I'm really happy with the height of this. And great news, I was worried that it was gonna be too warm to wear this after I finished it, but we had one cold day right after I finished this, so I was able to wear it, and it was, oh, so scrumptious. I wish I would have had this collar all winter, but it's fine. But anyway, now it's spring officially, so I don't think I will be able to wear this anymore, but I just wanted to show you on the podcast as it is fresh off my needles, and I am in love with it. So let's see what else to say on the pattern. I knit the size medium, and I used all of the same needle sizes that she recommends in the pattern. And so the main body is knit on 5mm needles. The armholes are knit on 4.5. I think the collar is also knit on 4.5. This might be on 4, I don't remember. And then the double knitting is on 3mm needles. And at first I was a little worried about the double knitting because it was kind of scrunching the bottom of the slipover like lengthwise. But when I blocked it, I just made sure to really relax out the ribbing widthwise, and that solved my problem. So my double knitting probably still is a little too tight, but we blocked it out and it's fine. And I'm really, really happy with the fit and how it turned out. As with all PetiteKnit patterns, like I don't think this one matters so much because like it's open on the sides, but what I normally do for all of my PetiteKnit patterns is I knit the size medium because I am right in the middle of a small and a medium, like with a 90cm bust. And so I usually go for the size medium knowing that my gauge is going to be tighter than the gauge that is called for in the pattern. And so I get a size, like a finished garment size, that's somewhere between a small and a medium. And that has not failed me yet. I continue to do that, and it's been pretty consistent. I have yet to have, knock on wood, a sizing issue with a PetiteKnit pattern where I've done that. So that's just what works for me. But all that to say that this is probably not what a true medium would look like. But anyway, I think it fits me great. So that's pretty much all I have to say on the pattern. It's just super, super lovely. And yeah, it's one of those where, you know, I don't think I need more than one of these, but I'm really glad that I have the one that I do. So on the yarn, I was so excited to knit with the Blue Sky Fibers Woolstok worsted because I knit with this yarn in a different color for my cardigan number 9, but I also held it with a strand of mohair, and so I really wanted to feel what this yarn would be like on its own, and I love it. It is, 100%, got my notes here, it is 100% fine Highland wool, and I personally don't find it scratchy. Like, it's touching my neck right here. I don't think that's scratchy. Now, of course, if it gets like really hot out, then any type of wool against my neck is going to be irritating. But when it's cold and you need something to block the wind, this is absolutely perfect and I love it. So I really love this yarn. I will be knitting with this again, hands down. Also, this color is so stunning. I need to wear more brown. I feel like everyone says that, but like brown is just such a good color because like black is hard to knit with, but brown is like, you know, kind of that happy medium where you still get that dark aesthetic, but it's like a little easier to see while you're knitting. But anyway, that is what I did for the yarn. Okay, so I don't really have much else to say other than that it was just so lovely, but I can talk about the amount of yarn that I used. So the Blue Sky Fibers Woolstok Worsted comes in either 50 gram hanks or what is this, 150 gram hanks. And so what I did is I bought two 150 gram hanks and an extra 50 gram hank that I actually did not end up using, so that's fine. But I was able to knit like the entire back panel with one hank, the entire front panel with one hank, and the whole point of that was that I just didn't want to have to join in a new end, and then like all the little extra bits I was able to use with those like 300 grams, and I still have 31 grams left over from that like original 300 that I used. So I have 31 grams left over plus like a full extra 50 gram hank that I didn't even touch. But ignoring the extra 50 gram hank that I did not need to use, for the two 150 gram hanks, skeins of yarn, I might be using the wrong word here, I spent a total of $55 on this slipover, which is like amazing. Granted, it doesn't have sleeves, so you know, that helps with the cost, but like it's been a minute since I've had like a 50-ish dollar knitting project, and I'm so happy with how this turned out. Like, it's just so high quality, but also like economical. Like, it is like slightly cheaper per gram to get the bigger hanks of these. So if you have like a big project that you know you're gonna need a lot of yarn, like that is the more economical way to go. But yeah, I don't know, it just worked out that I was able to use two of those for one entire slipover and get it under 60 bucks. So I think that's amazing. I am super happy with how this turned out. And yeah, I don't really have much else to say other than it's amazing. And I'm honestly kind of bummed out that it's gonna be warm now. Like, it's fine. I got to wear it one time, so that's what matters. So, okay, real quick, moving into my second finished object. This one is really small and she's been on my needles for a minute. So these are my Hermione's Everyday Socks by Erica Lueder. And here is what they look like. I knit these using Malabrigo Ultimate Sock in the color 862 Piedras. I'm never gonna say that correctly, but this is what it looks like with such lovely texture. I cast these on as my Socktober project, and I just finished these like the second week in March. So I am not a quick sock knitter, and that's fine. I keep these just on the go for whenever I need something to knit on, and they were really fun, really lovely. You know, one thing though is I thought I cast these on, like I used a German twisted cast on, and I thought I cast these on really loosely. I even knit them two at a time, like on separate needles, just pulling from the same ball of yarn. And so I cast them on both really loosely, or so I thought, but I really struggled to get these on my foot. And the only thing I can attribute to that is lately, all of my socks have had 2x2 ribbing on the cuffs, but these have 1x1 ribbing. And so I don't know if that contributes to it just a little bit. I have no idea, but these are a little tough to get on my foot. So I did try to block them a little aggressively, but it's fine. Once they're on my foot, they fit great. So that is what these look like. I love the yarn. I think it is so pretty. And clearly you can see what I was going for with the Socktober vibe, but it just took me several months to get these done, and that's okay. But anyway, that's just my second quick finished object, and I am so glad. It's just so satisfying to have socks off the needles for some reason, but it's also one of those things that as soon as I finish socks, I immediately cast on a new pair. So I'm just like back to where I was with like, whatever. It's just constantly having socks on the needles. And so even though you get like the euphoria of finishing a pair, immediately casting on another one maybe combats that a little bit. Whatever. It's fine. We love knitting socks just for fun. Okay. That is it for finished objects. And now I have 3 works in progress. And 2 of these you have seen before. But the first one I have made a good amount of progress on. And this is my Tulip loop vest by Other Loops. And this is what she looks like. It is a gorgeous drop shoulder construction sweater vest. And you can see it better on the back, but it's got like these cables in the center that look like tulips, and they're just stunning. And then you've got like a little cable on either side here. But these tulip cables are just absolutely stunning, and I am in love with this. So the yarn that I'm using is Gepard Woolia, and this is in the color 102 Wheat. But I am planning on over dyeing this sweater vest once I finish it, because I am not in love with this wheat color and how it looks on me. So I think I'm gonna over dye it gray. I already bought the dye for it, and I will do that at some point. But anyway, that is the progress that I've made on this. I have joined in the round, and now I'm just knitting in the round when I finish it. I also think I'm not gonna do the split hem that the pattern calls for, because I personally just find non-split hems more wearable for me. So I think I am just knitting the round until I'm done. And then there are no sleeve or armhole like things you need to go back and knit, because the way this is knit is the yarn just kind of curls in on itself, and so that is the finishing for the sleeve. Like, you don't have to go back and pick up anything else, and so the only thing that I'll have to do is go back and pick up for the neckline and knit that. So this is going pretty fast. I honestly was thinking I would have more done on this than I do, but I had to take a full week off of knitting because I developed what's called trigger finger, which is so funny because I actually like used to shoot competitively growing up, and so I was like, this trigger finger, like, no, I never got this while I was shooting, so like, what's going on? But it's basically where I had it on like my ring finger on my right hand, and it's where instead of like your finger moving like smoothly up and down, like the ligament is like tight or something, and so it like jumps to the next position instead of moving smoothly. I'm not doing it on the actual finger because it's still like lingering just a little bit. But anyway, so with the advice of the medical people in my life, my sister basically told me to take the week off of knitting, and so that's why I didn't get a lot done on this. I thought I would have a lot more done, but it's fine. It's better to rest my hands so that I can knit in the long term rather than just pushing through now so I can finish something like a week sooner. But anyway, that is my tulip loop vest. I am really hoping to finish this soon because even though it's knit on 4.5mm needles and it's like a chunky, like a fairly chunky yarn, it's a sweater vest. And so I still think I can get a good amount of wear out of this in the spring and just wear like a light long sleeve under it, or maybe even a short sleeve, you know? So I'm excited to finish this, and I hope I can find some time to work on it. But my newest cast on is really doing its best to take my attention away from my tulip loop vest. So anyway, that is my first whip. And then my second whip, you've also seen before, and this has kind of taken a little bit of a back seat because as it has started to get warmer, I've realized that I'm not going to be able to wear this once I finish it. So I've kind of just paused on it for now, but I have made a little progress since I showed this to you. So this is my sweater number 23 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I have almost knit the entire back panel. And this is what it looks like. So this is also a heavily modified sweater number 23. So basically what I wanted to accomplish with this sweater was I wanted the fit of my Ingrid sweater, but I wanted like a style that had where you could see like the increases along the shoulder. And so that's what I did. And the sweater number 23, like you do the back panel and then you increase like pretty significantly for under the arms so that the body is just huge. And I wasn't really going for that look with this sweater necessarily. And so what I did is, well, first of all, I'm off gauge. I'm knitting on 4.5mm needles instead of 5. And so I'm knitting the largest size in the pattern, but that is only for the top part of the back. Like, I'm knitting just to the amount of increases that she calls for, and then I'm just gonna knit straight. And whenever it comes time to do like the body increases, I'm just skipping those. Like, I'm just continuing to knit straight. So it's like the biggest size in the pattern, but like also like I'm skipping some steps. Like it's heavily modified, right? And I was also like trying to get the stitch count of my Ingrid sweater. And so based on the stitch count in this pattern, I could either go like a few stitches less, so it would be slightly less oversized, or I could go a few stitches more, so it's slightly more oversized, and that's what I went for. So let's see, where's the drop? So there's like, I don't know if you can see my stitch marker. It's gonna be like a pretty significant drop shoulder. Like, homie's gonna be kind of oversized. So anyway, that's that. I'm thinking it'll be fine because I think it's only like 4 stitches wider than my Ingrid sweater is, and I love the fit of my Ingrid sweater. So all that being said, if I need to rip this back and try again in a smaller size, that's fine. Like, it's just stockinette. It's just a good project to have on the needles. And anyway, I really want this to have a good fit. Like, that's my goal, and I think that is worth ripping back if I need to. But anyway, this one is taking a little bit of a backseat for now just because of the warmer weather and, I don't know, not wanting to really knit on something that I'm not gonna be able to wear immediately. Oh, I think I forgot to say, I am knitting this in Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino, and it's actually sitting right here. This is Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in the color Poppy Blue. And yeah, this was a Christmas gift that I got, and I love this color. So that's what I'm knitting this in. And yeah, it's just a really good material. So yeah, that's that. Okay, my last work in progress and also kind of like acquisition combined in one is really exciting. I went to 2 fiber festivals 2 weekends in a row, and the second one was yesterday. And I'm gonna have hopefully a little vlog coming out kind of talking about both of those. But yesterday I got some gorgeous yarn at this fiber festival. And so I did some research beforehand, and I knew that I specifically was looking for Suri silk lace type yarn, like a mohair alternative. And this one company I found has that as an option, but it's still hand dyed, but it's a consistent color. Like, that is honestly my ideal yarn. I'm not a huge fan of variegated yarns in sweaters. Like, I think they're amazing for socks and like little accessories, but for sweaters I do prefer like a fully consistent color unless it's stripes or something. And so this yarn company hand dyes their yarn, but it is like consistent colors. And so I knew that I was gonna get this yarn ahead of time, and so I beelined it for Camellia Fiber Company, and I ended up getting their CFC Suri lace, and this is in the color Sweet Pea, and this is what it looks like. And, okay, so this is 74% baby Suri alpaca and 26% mulberry silk, and there are 300 meters in 50 grams, and I got 6 of these. Here's 4 of them. And okay, in the store, I thought these were more purple. I was like, cool, I love purple, let's go for it. But then when I got home, it was screaming like baby blue, and I was like, what is going on? And then my mom looked at it and she's like, Laura, that's periwinkle, because like that's her favorite color, so she's well versed in periwinkle. And so I was like, you're so right. But it is just fascinating how I've already started like my project with this, and I'm like carrying it from room to room in my house, and it just kind of changes color. Like, it's purple in some lighting, it's blue in some lighting. I have no idea what's going on. Like, here is, let me set one down. Here is Knitting for Olive mohair in the color unicorn purple. So this really is like a true purple. And then here is the like the Suri lace in Sweet Pea. So it's definitely like a periwinkle and not a pure purple or pure blue. Like, well, I have so many knitting for olives available, so like there's the difference. So like it's definitely like right in the middle, and I love it. I think it's such a gorgeous color. It is so soft. I am not even going to talk about how expensive this was, though. I spent a small fortune on 6 of these skeins. So I guess I'll tell you at the end when I finish the project. But dare I say, before I have even finished the project, it's worth it. And so I cast on. I was a little torn between a couple projects. Like, one of my plans was to cast on the Coffee Run sweater by Kutava Kika, but that would have been 2 strands of the Suri plus a fingering. But after I found out how expensive this was going to be, I was like, there's no way I'm holding this with something else to like add to the cost of a project. And so I ended up casting on a Cumulus blouse by PetiteKnit, and this is like just one night of progress whenever I cast this on. Like, I was frantically knitting on this because it is just so soft and fluffy and lovely, and I love it, and it's amazing. Am I ever gonna knit with mohair ever again? Probably. But like, Suri lace is just spectacular. Like, I'm having such a good time, and I'm just obsessed with it. So this is my new like main whip. My Tulip loop vest is like a close second, but I'm having to share the needles for it. So I'm having to like go back and forth because they're both on 4.5mm needles. So this is like the primary whip, but I am still gonna try to equally share my time between the two of them. But I've also decided that this is like gonna be my Easter sweater, and so I I'm going to try to finish this before Easter, so that gives me like, I think, a month to finish this. And like, if I've already done this much in just one night, I think I can finish this before Easter. So anyway, that is my Cumulus blouse. I am so in love with this texture. This is going to be the most expensive thing I have ever made, and I hope it's worth it. I hope I don't feel too precious about it that I never wear it. But it is just really, really lovely. And I also could see myself using like one strand of the Suri alpaca for other projects instead of a mohair, because I was thinking about it a little bit. Like, this is 50 grams for a lace weight, and so normally like a silk mohair is 25 grams, and the most expensive mohair I've knit with was the Isir mohair, which was like, I don't know, $14 to $16 per 25 grams. I can't remember exactly. And so this is like pretty much the same price as that. So one strand of this would be like knitting with a really, really nice mohair cost-wise. I'll just go ahead and tell you, it was $31 a skein for this, for hand-dyed yarn too, which is pretty nice. But I could see this being like a, slightly financially feasible mohair alternative if you're only holding one strand of it. It'd still be a really nice, expensive project, but not like double the price of mohair, So this is just me trying to justify it, because I definitely am going to want to use more of this in the future. But for now, my Cumulus blouse is incredible. I'm so in love, and it's probably just gonna fly off of my needles because it's really big needles, and it's just so soft and really nice to work with. So I'm in love with that. Okay, so that counted as a work in progress and also kind of an acquisition. But the last acquisition that I had to show you is a tiny one, and this is from the other yarn festival that I went to 2 weekends ago. And I just picked up some sock yarn, and this is from Bird's Nest Stitchery, and this is their sock yarn, which is 75% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina, because it's like a little bit shiny. And this is the colorway Galaxy. And clearly I'm in a purple mood right now, because like everything I'm working on is like in the blue purple spectrum. And so I saw this and I was like, yep, that's what I'm getting. This is the only yarn that I picked up from that fiber festival, and I don't know, it's really easy to just justify picking up a skein of sock yarn, because who doesn't need another pair of socks, right? So that is my last little acquisition that I am super, super happy about. And yeah, that was a fairly short episode for today. Don't really have much else to share, but I just wanted to give you a quick update on everything that I'm working on. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you've been working on. Please let me know if you love Suri alpaca, because this is my new obsession. And I hope you're having a fantastic day so far, and I will see you next time. Bye.